for my early fights, I think I did, just because it was local and I was comfortable in that environment. But I mean, my Ultimate Fighter finale, I found out the hard way that I was not mentally prepared or spiritually prepared uh, for a mixed martial arts fight at a high level with everyone watching. I had a lot of mental work to do, and a lot of physical and technical work to do, and that all bubbled up on fight night, and I felt like I was just a deer in the headlights. And so I knew I had to work on that. I knew I couldn't run away from that, and I knew I needed to experience as much chaos and as much pressure as possible. And sometimes you think you are. Until you realize there's more levels and there's more for you to see. Like I remember for the BJ Penn fight, I only had my two main sparring partners was my Muay Thai coach and my brother Keith. Like those were my main sparring partners. And then I had a couple guys that I brought out, Dean Thomas and Hatsu Hiyoki, who helped me. But I needed to be doing more. I mean, I didn't have the economic resources to necessarily do that as much. I would have liked to, but I certainly did after that fight. I invested so much into my training after that, where I was going to Montreal all the time. I was flying out training partners. I was paying for the best coaches possible. I wanted to learn as much as possible and train with the best guys that I could find, and that meant utilizing the right resources. And I paid a lot to both physically and economically to make that happen. So I always tried to take care of my coaches and my training partners and experience as much chaos as I could, because I knew that ultimately the truth would reveal itself on fight night, and I'd rather find out in training than on fight night. Candidly, after I was retired, I took it, I guess to another level as far as thinking about it, because rarely are you 100% on fight night. There's always something going on, whether it's a bad weight cut or an injury or staph infection or whatever it is, which I dealt with, all those things. I needed to be able to beat them on my worst day. Like it's easier to fight someone when you're at your best, but it's like, how do I beat them when I'm at my worst? Like, that's what I wanted to figure out. And that's what kind of motivates me today, is that, like, I'm 46 years old with a bad back, bad knee, bad hip. If I'm in a self-defense situation or someone's trying to hurt me or whatever, like, I can't be like, I'll meet you back here on Monday at 2 p.m. I got to wait. I got to stretch out a little bit first. If you could let me, no, you got to be ready to go. So you have to be at a technical level and a composure level that is, unlike anybody else. So those are the things that I try to remember and I try to train for. I'm not able to train as much as I would like because of my body, but I try to maximize the most out of my training sessions, the best that I can.
Because I remember when you were on the Uncle Joey Diaz podcast, and that's what he was saying. He was like, as soon as he got mounted, he said he'd almost had a panic attack. And that hit home, because I can remember like that, the kind of crashing pressure